he wasn't supposed to hear it. The CEO, pretending to nap in his leather chair, only meant to test the janitor's honesty. But when the tired father whispered those 7 words under his breath, everything changed. The test turned into a revelation, and the man with everything suddenly realized he might have nothing at all. It was 10:37 p.m. inside the glass-walled skyscraper of Everline Industries, where success gleamed in polished floors and silent corridors. The offices were long empty, except for 2 souls, Ethan Cole, the youngest CEO in the company's history, and Daniel Reyes, the janitor who mopped floors like they were sacred ground. Ethan had stayed late, half by habit, half by pride. At 34, he had built an empire from relentless ambition, sleepless nights, and a heart that had forgotten softness. Tonight, though, his mind wasn't on profits or pitches, it was on people. Lately, rumors had reached him. The janitor sometimes took breaks longer than allowed, sometimes stayed late for no reason. Ethan hated excuses, and so he decided to see for himself. He turned off his desk lamp, loosened his tie, and leaned back on the chair. Let's see what the man does when no one's watching, he thought coldly. At exactly 10:45, the elevator dinged, and Daniel stepped out pushing his old cleaning cart. He looked older than his 42 years, lines of exhaustion drawn deep beneath eyes that still carried kindness. His uniform was faded, his shoes worn thin. But his movements were precise, steady, almost respectful. Ethan cracked one eye open, pretending to sleep. The janitor paused at the sight of him, then quietly went to work. No sighs, no complaints. He wiped, dusted, organized. Then, unexpectedly, he stopped. Daniel stared at a framed picture on the CEO's shelf, a younger Ethan beside a woman, both smiling in sunlight. Daniel whispered softly, "You've got a good life, sir. Don't let the world harden you like it did me." Ethan's heart twitched, but he didn't move. Then Daniel sighed, almost to himself. "If only my boy gets his medicine in time tomorrow, maybe he'll finally sleep without pain." That whisper froze Ethan cold. This wasn't the muttering of a lazy man, it was the ache of a father. Ethan's test had turned into a mirror. And what he saw reflected in that whisper, humility, love, quiet suffering, pierced deeper than any truth he'd faced in years. The next morning, the office buzzed with routine life, phones ringing, keyboards clicking, coffee cups clinking. But Ethan wasn't himself. His mind replayed the janitor's whisper again and again. "If only my boy gets his medicine in time." He couldn't shake it. At 9 a.m., Daniel walked into the CEO's office, pushing his cart as usual. His eyes widened when he saw Ethan awake and waiting. "Oh, sir, I'm sorry, I didn't know you'd be here this early." Ethan gestured for him to stop. "Daniel, can I ask you something?" The janitor hesitated. "Yes, sir." "Last night," Ethan said slowly, "you said something about your son's medicine." Daniel's face went pale. "You were awake?" Ethan nodded. "I was, testing you. And instead, you tested me." Daniel looked down, embarrassed. "I didn't mean to say anything, sir. I just, sometimes, when it gets quiet, I talk to God. Or to myself. My boy, Leo, he's 9. Has a heart condition. I work 2 shifts to afford the medicine, but it's getting harder." The silence between them stretched, heavy but human. Ethan leaned back, exhaling a breath he didn't know he was holding. "You know," he said quietly, "I thought loyalty came from paychecks and titles. But last night, you showed me something I've forgotten, why people really work. Who they work for." Daniel smiled faintly. "Most of us don't chase money, sir. We chase hope." That line hit harder than any business deal. Ethan opened a drawer and took out a white envelope. "This isn't charity," he said, sliding it toward Daniel. "It's an investment, in a father who refuses to give up." Daniel shook his head. "Sir, I can't." You can, Ethan interrupted. And you will. Your son deserves his medicine, and you deserve a break. Starting tomorrow, you're not cleaning floors, you're supervising maintenance. Higher pay, fixed hours. Tears filled Daniel's eyes, his hands trembling as he took the envelope. Sir. I don't know what to say. Ethan smiled softly. Say nothing. Just promise me one thing, never lose that heart. The world needs more of it. Daniel nodded, emotion cracking his voice. And maybe the world needs more people who listen. That night, Ethan stood by his office window, city lights reflecting in his glassy eyes. For the first time in years, he didn't feel alone at the top. He realized that success without compassion was just another form of emptiness. He had set out to test a janitor's honesty. But in the end, it was the janitor's whisper that tested his soul. And it changed him forever. Moral. Sometimes the smallest voices reveal the loudest truths. Success isn't measured by what you build, it's measured by who you lift along the way.